He didn't seem even to remember Edgar, never mind knowing who he was. Oh, Magda considered. Well, in a way, that's good. Long ago, Rachel had explained to her that Alan was a man tortured by overwhelming jealousy. He'd once become wildly angry at the mention of an early boyfriend, and Rachel had never dared to mention another. In light of that, it was probably fortunate that Edgar Bowen's significance had escaped him. But even the thought of Alan's fortunate ignorance couldn't distract from the unfortunate manner of Edgar's death. What a way to go. Magda shook her head ruefully. You have to ask yourself, which is worse, the fact of the death or the form it took? For him or for us? Asked Rachel. Either, I guess, or both. Rachel thought about it for a minute. For us, the death, surely. But for him, the form. Magda looked puzzled. How do you work that out? Well, he's dead, and that's a loss for us. But he doesn't know about it since he's dead. But now whenever somebody hears about it, they're going to say, "In his sleep, you mean?" Or, "In his soup?" She shook her head. And that's a terrible way to be memorialized. Now he's forever the soup man. Her tone capitalized the last three words. Oh, I don't know, Magda countered. He was kind. He was thoughtful. I remember him as gracious. I think he'll be remembered as more than the soup man. Rachel thought of Edgar's tenderness with his son David, the care and seriousness with which he had listened to a 4-year-old's monologues and answered his questions. She thought of his patience with his ex-wife Mathilde, with whom he'd managed to carve out an equable relationship, despite her being, as Rachel remembered, one of those French women who looked down her long nose at lesser mortals. Yes, he had been kind. He had been thoughtful. Maybe he would be remembered for more than soup. Well, she said, I'll be able to let you know how his reputation stands, at the moment at least, because I'm going to go to the funeral on Thursday. Magda reached for a Madeleine, nibbling at its golden cakiness with relish. I'll go with you. She wasn't one to miss out on a bit of excitement. Chapter 2. The outer arrondissements of Paris are crowded with funérailles, French funeral homes. They are all small, formal places, nondescript outside, stuffed with oppressively comfortable furniture inside. Edgar Bowen's funeral took place at one in the 14th arrondissement. In a room that Rachel was willing to bet the promotional pamphlets described as soigné, dignified, but which was, in fact, soulless. She supposed this was appropriate, considering its function. Spaced along its taupe walls were dark urns holding arrangements of inoffensive flowers. Cushioned taupe chairs stood in rows on taupe carpet. The whole effect was that of a particularly sober conference center. But again, that wasn't altogether inappropriate. She craned her neck to see better from her seat beside Magda in the back of the room. Edgar's son David sat in the front row, his mother on the chair next to his. Rachel hadn't seen either of them for 20 years, and she was surprised to find that the sight of Mathilde instantly called up a memory. A sunny morning early in her relationship with Edgar, when eating a croissant in the kitchen in her hot-weather uniform of cut-off shorts and a man-sleeveless undershirt, she had been surprised by an as-yet unknown Mathilde, cool in a linen sheath and high-heeled sandals. She remembered the way Mathilde had looked at her as she leaned on the countertop, the croissant flakes falling on the tiles beneath. The way she had passed through to the séjour and said to Edgar in English, just loud enough to be overheard, "Your new cleaner is very young, isn't she?" Watching Mathilde now in her navy suit and topaz scarf, her nose tilted to indicate her superiority, Rachel knew that although David might have astounded